In this video I want to first of all talk about how quickly and slick our new used and part exchange system is. I'll take you through it so you see how quickly you can have your new gear and a decent part exchange deal. Then I'm going to talk about some antennas. I've been playing about with 3 separate antenna systems for static mobile operation, and there's differences between them and a little bit of a surprise towards the end. And in an upcoming video I'm going to cover batteries, but a slightly different angle on batteries, and also look at a scanner which may be ideal for air shows as we come into we're in the spring now and come into the summer season of air shows. A scanning receiver which may well be the answer for you to enjoy your air shows a bit more by hearing what's going on in the cockpit. Anyway, let's first of all talk about used equipment part exchange deals and how quickly we can get that cracking for you. Well, hello once again and welcome to the Waters and Stanton video channel on this lovely spring day. It's really fabulous here in the south, and I think it's generally over most of the UK. And even the old fig tree is starting to come out in leaves. This fig tree has been here for a number of years now, and I get loads and loads of figs off, and you can see you may not be able to see on the camera, the figs coming through there. These leaves will be enormous eventually, but yeah, fig tree. Anyway, this video is somewhat a bit miscellaneous really. I've been messing about with various things. A couple of aerials I found in the garden shed. You know, if you're like me, you put things away and then you forget you've got them. Perhaps it's an age thing. Anyway, I found in the garden shed a couple of antennas, and I thought, I wonder if they still work, or if they work at all, or if I can adapt them to work. And I'm going to show you in this video what I did, and it may give you some ideas. You don't have to copy them, but it may give you some ideas to mess about with bits and pieces and see what you can do, particularly if you've got this nice weather. Something I want to mention. Still get asked about second-hand gear and so forth, and do we do part exchange? Yes, we do part exchange, therefore we've got a lot of second-hand gear. And you can check what we've got in stock by going on to our website. But let me explain, I have explained a couple of times, but I'll explain once more how our used equipment works, how we do a part exchange deal. It's very, very easy, and I think we've sort of streamlined it now to make it even easier for you. Basically, if you've got a bit of gear that you want to part exchange, then give us a ring or send us an email and tell us a bit about it. Is it working? Is it got any significant marks on it, any damage at all? Have you got the user manual? Have you got the original packing for it? All these help. Why? Well, if somebody's going to buy something used, for whatever reason, they like to see the original packing. It helps. If you haven't got it, well, so be it. But they do like to see the original packing. They certainly like to see the user manual. Although these days, I think most people, if you're like me, you probably don't even open the user manual that comes in the box. You download it. I do anyway. Download it onto my iPad, and I can read it at my leisure as and when I need it, rather than have to rummage around in the cupboards and find out what it did with it. Anyway, let us know what you've got. Tell us the condition it's in, and we'll give you a guide price over the phone or by email. And if you're happy with that and you've decided what you want to buy, or tell us what you want to buy. You want to buy something new, and we'll do a deal. We'll do a package deal for you. We'll say, look, we'll give you this for your used equipment if it's as you describe it, and this is what we can do on the bit of new gear you want to buy. This is the price. If that seems a reasonable deal to you, then what we will do is we will take the full price of the new gear and put it onto your credit card, and that'll debit your credit card. And we'll also at the same time arrange to pick up the item you want to part exchange. Now we'll have that item within 24 hours, 48 hours at the very latest, and a couple of days to check it over. And if it's as you describe it, then we will then credit your credit card or debit card with the amount that we said we'd pay for it, we'd buy it in for. Now, if you've got a credit card, the chances are that the debit will go through and the credit will come onto the card within 2 or 3 days' time, so that in actual fact, all you're actually paying when you come to settle your card at the end of the month or whenever it is, you'll just pay the net amount. In other words, the extra amount you needed to buy that bit of gear. And by and large, it works pretty well. It means to say you can have that new gear very quickly and with the minimum of fuss. So, if you're looking for a new bit of gear and you've got a part exchange item that you want to part exchange, get in touch. The deal could go through pretty quickly, and we like doing deals, so get in touch.
I've covered the Yaso FT710 on a number of occasions, but I just wanted to remind you that there's still a cashback on that, and that expires towards the end of May, so don't leave it too late. I've got the AES version with the external speaker, but you can have the field version without the speaker and save some money. There's not many budget class transceivers that allow you to plug in an external display, but the FT710 does, and that's very useful. It's got a super quiet and very sensitive receiver, and also a very comprehensive display.
This is GASEN, Foxtrot November, Foxtrot Victor November.
I use the standard mic that came with it, the hand mic, and I get excellent audio reports. I got the additional keypad, which has got some useful shortcuts, particularly if you're a CW operator. Unusual for a budget class transceiver is that you can plug a mouse into it, and because the screen is a touch screen, then you can actually control this screen or the functions on the screen using the mouse. Details of the cashback can be found on our website, and of course remember that you can also do a part exchange deal, so there's never been a better time than this to buy an FT710. I found in my garage this antenna, and as far as I can make out it's the MFJ 1664. It's a compact, mobile, variable frequency system covering 40 metres through to 6 metres, and although it's out of production now, you may still find some available on the internet. It's highly compact, and I thought I'd give it a try. It's a base-loaded antenna with the variable inductance and a 3/8 inch connection at the bottom. It's by no means unique, there are other versions available if you hunt around. To adjust the resonance, you just loosen the screw on the side and slide this outer collar up and down to get resonance on the particular band you wish to operate on, and then fasten the screw again to lock it in place. If we zoom in, you'll see I made a couple of marks, one for 17 metre resonance and the other for 20 metre resonance, and that was very accurate when I reset it to those marks. On the back of my camper van, I've got an SO239 mount, but this particular antenna has got a 3/8 inch, so I need to convert that. And we have this adapter which converts SO239 to the 3/8 inch mount. And if you screw that on there, you've got quite a firm adapter, and you can then mount any 3/8 inch antenna on this mount. And here you can see the antenna mounted on the back of my camper van. With the 1.5 metre whip I had, I could only get it down to 8 megahertz, so obviously you need a longer whip to go down to 40 metres. On my two favourite bands, 18 megahertz and 40 megahertz, you see I get excellent matching. I then wondered what frequency coverage I would get with the whip on its own. Back to my rig expert zoom analyzer. With the 1.5 metre whip fully extended, I got to lowest frequency 46 megahertz, and the highest frequency with it collapsed completely was 115. Shame I missed 2 metres, but here's a trick. Extend the whip back out to near maximum and you get 3/4 wave resonance on 2 metres. Neat.
Have you ever changed your coax? You got rid of your old RG58 and invested in some better coax, and then been a bit disappointed because your VSWR has gone up? Well, it actually hasn't changed at all. although your station VSWR meter will show a deterioration, it hasn't actually changed the antenna. The point is that all coax has a loss, and the return reflected signal down the coax is subject to that loss as well. So at the shack end, you're measuring a VSWR which is slightly better than what it really is, because some of the reflected power has been lost in the coax cable. And if you improve the coax cable, you reduce the loss. So there's less reflected signal lost in the coax, and apparently your VSWR goes up a little bit. But if you were to put a VSWR meter at the base of the antenna, you would find that no matter what coax you attach to your antenna system, the VSWR would remain basically the same. So do bear in mind that the better your coax, the more accurate your actual VSWR reading will be at the shack. If you want to improve your VSWR, then you could put some lossy coax in line. That wouldn't be really sensible, would it?
Another antenna I had was the remains of a buddy stick, and I thought, I wonder how that would work as a mobile antenna. The buddy stick has got a tapped coil, and you put the fixed taps at various points to cover the various bands, and this particular one I thought I'd try on 20 metres. Here's a close-up of the tap arrangement. Unfortunately, I only had one tap, but it was good enough to try. But unfortunately, the results are a bit disappointing. The bottom of the coil has got a 3/8 inch fit-in, so that will go onto the mobile mount, and the whip is about 1.5 metres telescopic when it's fully extended. It looked quite smart, and I was pretty confident about how well it would work. But the measured VSWR wasn't as good as I'd hoped. It was almost 1.8 to 1. Okay, workable, but it should have been better than that. Compare that with the results I got using the MFJ coil. Was the MFJ coil better, or was that shielding, that sleeve, making it a better match? Down the bottom of the garden, I've still got my Ampro mobile whip, which I use as a base station antenna, and I covered that in a video recently, and it works quite well actually. But I thought, let's have a look at this antenna on the vehicle. This is the 20 metre Ampro antenna, which is about 2.5 metres high, and this one I've been using for a little while now. Well, I think the results speak for themselves. An excellent VSWR, and nothing to complain about there. Well, certainly the Ampro seems to be the best antenna. It's the longest antenna, and I guess therefore it's got the slightly higher impedance at the base, which brings it closer to 50 ohms. The MFJ one did very well. That's not far removed from the Ampro. It's got a slightly shorter whip, but it does have the advantage that it'll cover all bands from 20 metres through to 10 metres, and it didn't cover 40 metres. I'd assumed it would, but it didn't cover 40 metres. You need a longer whip. And if you detach that whip, you can also get coverage on 4 metres, 6 metres and 2 metres. So it's quite a useful antenna. To some extent, the buddy stick was a bit of a disappointment. I don't fully understand why the VSWR was significantly higher on that. Not that it makes much difference, it will still radiate. But I have used that buddy stick before on a mag mount, and again I had the same problem. Whether it's because there was a self-resonance on the coil or not, I don't know, but it certainly wouldn't come down to a VSWR anywhere near as close as the Ampro antenna and the MFG antenna. It's all good fun, isn't it, messing about with antennas? Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't work. And sometimes when they don't work, you don't fully understand it. But that's the fun with ham radio. Anyway, it was an interesting exercise. I enjoyed it. Not sure I learnt much actually, apart from the fact that I found out which antenna was better. In the meantime, thanks for your support on this channel. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. And as usual, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.